Picture this. It's 2014 and you're in middle school. Wait! Don't click off. I know it was a cringy time, but stay with me. While waiting for that first bell to ring, your strange friend you keep around because he has no one else shows up and tells you about this cool game you found. You see, his favorite YouTuber, I can't remember the name right now, played this new super scary game called Five Nights at Freddy's. Wow, that game looks super cool, you say. But then, he pulls out his phone, and there it is. And it was in that moment that you became a FNAF fan, whether that's a good thing or not. That, I can imagine, is how a lot of people initially got into FNAF. Like this comment. Me? No, I was the strange friend. FNAF's mobile ports are almost as important as the PC originals themselves because they allowed the game to reach a wider audience, an audience whose parents wouldn't let them use the family computer. It is how I played the original FNAF, and I got the mobile port of FNAF 2 after getting it on PC and being too scared to play it. I have so much nostalgia for these original ports. But in 2019, ClickTeam removed these original versions and placed for a remastered version that more closely resembles the PC original. And because I am the FNAF port guy, but also to take a trip down memory lane, let's look at these mobile ports and see if they're as good as the PC version, or if I wasted $14. Hi, Editing Seth here. I just got done with the intro. Look at that. That sure is a lot, isn't it? Anywho, I just realized that I forgot to say something very, very important, and you already know what it is. So I'm asking, not for me, but for her, to please subscribe and like the video. For this huge little thing, she's asking nicely, she's purring. I don't know if you can hear it. She's purring, so if you could please like and subscribe, she would be eternally grateful. Thank you. First, let's look at the originals from 2014. Illogical Jason has a great series where he goes over all the original, now deleted, mobile ports, so definitely give that a watch. I won't go over much here, but man, these were rough. There was no perspective effect, some effects were straight up missing, the UI was huge, and FNAF 2 didn't even have a static effect on its monitor. The most crucial change, though, was that nights only lasted for 4.5 minutes. Compared to FNAF 1's almost 9-minute nights, that is a huge cut. The worst change, though...
Also, when you try and tap Freddy's nose, it doesn't work, so don't bother trying that on this version.
Unbelievable. While it feels like they hacked the PC original and duct taped the pieces together to create the mobile versions, I still love these ports. I don't know, man, they're just nostalgic to me. I love the bad sound effects and the missing visual effects. It gives off early mobile gaming vibes the same way that Angry Birds and Joypack Joyride does. FNAF 3 through Sister Location also have original versions like this, but I'm more knowledgeable on FNAF 1 and 2. If you want a more in-depth look at all these games, check out Illogical Jason's videos on them, link in the description. Now, let's look at the remastered version and see what changes were made. Remember how I said the old version was if you hacked up the PC original, and yeah, of course you do, it was like 5 seconds ago. Well, this new version is if you took the PC original and put it on mobile. It's kind of crazy. With the smaller UI, I thought for sure I was going to complain that my fingers are too big and it's only playable on large tablets. But no, I had no issue at all. I beat the first 5 nights first try. Even then, there are tons of options to help you out. You can make the UI bigger, you can play in the original aspect ratio of 16:9, and you can even turn off the perspective effect if your phone struggles with the game, or if you want that original experience. Nights are back to being almost 9 minutes again though. Later games made me hate how long FNAF 1's nights are. FNAF 2 is the same way, being a straight up balls to the wall mobile port. They added all the missing visual effects, it looks more in line with the PC version, and of course, frick yeah. However, FNAF 1 had an original aspect ratio mode. That made sense because it was 16:9, but FNAF 2 was 4:3. So is that here? Oh no. Oh no, don't play like this. So far, these have been more than excellent ways to play these games. Translating a point-and-click horror game to touch controls was apparently really easy. Who would have guessed? And I'm glad to say that trend continues with FNAF 3. Like, come on. If I added a cursor and removed the bar at the bottom, you would think it was the PC version. One of the areas the console port struggled with was the hidden minigames, making the already cryptic requirements to unlock these being even more cryptic. Once again, this is something the mobile version fixes. So if you know how to get to these games, by God, you could get to them easily. The controls kinda suck during these games though. Not having tactic feedback or whatever it's called. Using the touchscreen and not feeling any buttons gives you a learning curve, especially since your finger has to be right on the direction or your ass ain't going anywhere. But that's a minor nitpick and a pretty good port. FNAF 4, on the other hand, is surprisingly good. Like, they fixed the audio issue I was complaining about in the console video.
What?
I thought for sure I was going to have to play this with headphones because that's just how FNAF 4 is, but nope. I was playing this while I was at my job, waiting for my client to show up, raw dogging it to where everyone could hear. The breathing was a good volume, the jump scare won't pierce your ears in 15 different ways. The only thing is, without headphones, you can't tell what side the noise is coming from. But who doesn't have headphones for their phone? I will have to nitpick the controls a little teeny tiny baby bit though. You see that square where it says to shut the door and flash the light? Yeah, that is the only place where you could tap to perform these actions. Not anywhere on either side of the screen. This isn't too bad until the instructions disappear and you think you could tap anywhere when it doesn't. Also, while you're closing the door when Bonnie's there, the game can glitch to where the door doesn't want to shut. It only happens in this scenario, and typically you could get the door shut after 2 or 3 times. It's just weird. Other than those nitpicks and the minigames once again being weird to control, this is a pretty alright way to play FNAF 4. I definitely prefer this version over the console port, which is insane because this and Sister Location were the 2 that I was most worried about. This must mean Sister Location is also good. Sister Location is not good. Playing this game for the second time in a year has made me realize that I am not a fan of Sister Location. It's fine the first time you play it on PC, but that's all you need. I believe I would love it if I had the choice to skip long dialogue scenes. But nope, so I'm left here doing this.
Using the vent to your left to reach the breaker room. It is recommended that you stay low to the...
See, that's an issue that the PC version has. But add terrible controls and that makes it $2 wasted. I don't know if it's as bad as the console port's pointer controls, but it is still not good. To look around you have to tap and move your finger in the direction you want to look. I think they should have included an option to basically do the opposite. You know, like when you're scrolling through pictures. The nightly minigames are fine. Although I did stop at night 4 because I am not doing that again. I looked up night 5 and thank God there is a larger keyboard to touch because I was unironically worried that they wouldn't do that. You would have to press it with the small little buttons. I would still recommend this version over the console port because of the lack of pointer controls. But I would just suggest watching someone play this game. Or if you really need to play it, play the PC version. Pizzeria Simulator was the best port on console, so I would think it would be kinda hard to mess it up here. As a matter of fact, the console port did things that I wish the others had done, such as making an intuitive UI design for a controller. Well, the mobile port of this game inverts which way you swipe to look like you're scrolling through pictures. Crazy! Other than that, it is still a great way to play Pizzeria Simulator. Congratulations on being the most consistent game in the franchise when it comes to playing on different systems. However, the cheats that were in the console port are now locked behind a paywall, after already paying for this game, which was free on Steam. As a matter of fact, FNAF 1 and 2 do this as well. What gives? Finally, Ultimate Custom Night still requires a huge learning curve to play, but it is easier to grasp this time around due to everything literally being laid out in front of you instead of making you memorize a test where failure means being jump scared. I still think the best way to play this game is on PC, especially since it's free, but I would much prefer this over the console version. You know, I was curious to how they handled Nightmare On and oh god, it's back! Kill it with fire! The one thing I will actually have to dock points for is the lack of being able to set all to 0. If you have a specific setup in this Ultimate Custom Night, you have to go through all 50 and remove the ones you don't want. It's pretty annoying. Other than that, the controls are pretty easy to grasp after a while, and you have an alright way to play UCN. They even have the cutscenes. That may cause some of you to dock some points, and I could understand that. And with that, that's my opinion on the FNAF Mobile Ports. They are more than excellent ways to play these games. And honestly, you might prefer them over the original due to the convenience they provide. Well, and that's everything I could say about the Scott Cawthon Click Team games, other than the original PC version, but that would just be redundant. Well, I know what a future video is going to be. Security Breach, as much as I don't like that game, shouldn't be too difficult to get through. And Help Wanted is a VR game, so there is no console port.
Oh my goodness!